Welcome to another episode of the Profitable Home Services Podcast. This is the podcast where we work hard to uncover hidden profit leaks because we want you to have a business that's not just busy, but one that's profitable. We love working with our home service businesses and our various coaching programs and workshops and then things like that that we tend to run from time to time. And but today I want to take a different track. Today I'd like to talk about 30 years in business. I can't believe I've been in business for 30 years. I just like, wow, that blows my mind away. And as I think back over the 30 years, I'd like to share some lessons with you that I learned the hard way in the hopes that maybe some of you guys out there can bypass some of the, I won't even call them potholes, they were bigger than that I encountered in growing my own business. I know I'm always one who's wanting to learn from others. If I can learn from somebody else, I don't have to make the same mistake myself. And not that everything along the path was mistakes, but boy, there was a lot of learning and growing opportunities. So I want to step back 30 years ago. I had just moved home to Idaho. I had been in California running my accounting practice from there. Sold out to an accountant who ripped me off with the purchase price. And we were coming off of a big, massive earthquake. And that was the only reason I sold back then was I didn't have the capital to keep everything going. Receivables had gotten completely out of control. Our town was devastated. So he picked up my business at a very inexpensive price for what he was getting and then proceeded to rip me off on the sales price. But that's okay. I learned a big lesson from that. It was an expensive one, but I learned a big lesson on that. And that lesson was when you're thinking about selling to somebody, it is just as important to do your homework and dig into the potential person who is looking at purchasing your business. What do they like? Do they match your morals? Do they match your integrity? Do you have similar core values? Those types of things. I didn't know enough back then to ask the questions. I was under a lot of financial pressure, and so I took an offer that in hindsight I never should have taken. But I was young and dumb, and so I did that. So I just want to caution you, anyone who's thinking about selling your business, really dig into who is this person who might be potentially purchasing your business and what are their philosophies. Within about maybe 3 years, there was hardly any of my previous clients still in the practice. They had all left because core values didn't match up between the buyer and myself. And they really enjoyed working with somebody who cared for them and gave them just good hands-on help and was caring, cared about the success of their business and things like that. But our core values didn't match up from me as a seller to the other guy as the purchaser. Moving on from there, I came home to Idaho, started over, started up a new practice on a kitchen table. I'm sure most of you can resonate with that, as I'm sure a lot of you started up your home service business out of your garage or something similar to that. Maybe it was a kitchen table. Anyhow, we have grown a lot in 30 years. One of the things that I want to talk about is the significance of making it in business for 30 years. It's like, wow, how many businesses really make it that long? And what does it take for a business to hold on and become successful over a period of 30 years? Before I came on the air, I tried to do a little bit of research on what is the percentage of businesses that make it to 30 years, and I wasn't able to come up with anything. It seems like only about 25% of businesses make it to year 15. So year 30, I know that percentage would be smaller. So I do want to stop it and kind of congratulate myself for making it for 30 years. And for any of you out there listening, if you've made it for 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years, congratulations for sticking in with that, for working so hard, for providing for your families, and not just your families, but providing for your team members and their families. Because I know most of the time our teams don't even see that part of it, that we are providing food on their tables. We're providing a roof over their head. They just have their hand out and want more, but not realizing how hard we work for what they are able to take home. So congratulate yourself if if you've made it past the first couple of years in business. You need to be a big congratulations on that. I want to fast forward a few years to about 2009. Some of you have been in business long enough to remember the recession that we had during that time period. I had been growing year over year up to that point. I'd been moving into newer and bigger offices. And in 2008, I purchased the office building that I was currently in. Or I purchased an office building and moved into it. Sorry. And in the process of purchasing that office building in 2008, I purchased it at the top of the market because I was tired of renting from somebody else. If I was going to be paying rent, I might as well be paying it to myself. And bought it at the top of the market. We all know what happens in 2009, 10, even into 11. When I was brave enough to look at the county assessor records and saw how much that building was worth at that point in time, I just had to just close my eyes and say, it's okay. Just keep paying rent to yourself. The market will come back. Don't worry about what the building is or isn't worth. Right now, you would be paying rent to somebody, so you might as well be paying it to yourself. And that's how I got through that period until the value did come back. But it took 10 years for it to come back. And when we sold it for basically the same amount of money that we paid for it. But I figured my business lived in it for 10 years, so I was happy. During that time, we had many of our clients going out of business right and left because they hadn't been set up well to be able to weather that recession that we had. As I'm talking over my shoulder is a copy of the book Profit First. And I, like many of the other Profit First professionals, have made the comment different times. We wish Mike Michalowicz would have written that book back in the early 2000s because when you've implemented Profit First into your business, you have a much greater chance of surviving through things like a long-term recession or COVID or any of those types of things, earthquake, fires, flooding, all those natural disasters that happen. You have a much better chance of surviving and even thriving. As I mentioned at the beginning of this story, when I sold my business, our town in California had just had a major earthquake, buildings leveled everywhere, and I had no backup savings. I had nothing. I lived off of credit cards for the next year, trying to keep my business afloat so that I could pay my team and not have to let people go. They were desperate for money too. So I was in a terrible position. Had I known about Profit First way back then, we would have been able to ride that out a lot better and I wouldn't have been forced to sell. So fast forward to things like the recession or COVID. Because I had Profit First set up in my business coming into COVID, we rode through COVID pretty easily. We lost a few businesses. We spent way too much time trying to figure out all the PPP rules and the ERC rules and those kinds of things. And so it really affected our sales. But we weathered it just fine because we had Profit First set up and we were able to draw on my emergency account. Coming up onto even a little more, well, I'm actually, before I go more recent, I'm going to come back to that recession time period. In 2009, I had lost several clients. They weren't able to hold on to their businesses. I was not picking up new clients because there was there wasn't extra money around for people to be investing in, new accounting services or training or coaching or any of that kind of stuff. And so I remember one day sitting in my conference room going, Dear God, what am I going to do? Payroll's coming up. I don't have anything else in savings. We've killed our savings. The building is worth half of what we paid for it. A couple of my team members are asking for a raise. What am I going to do? At that point in time was probably the lowest I've ever been. And it happened to be not too long after that that I read the book 3 Feet from Gold. And that book gave me the nudge or the push or the encouragement, whatever word you want to call it, to be able to keep going, to just keep on working because you never know what might be 3 feet in front of you. And for those who haven't read that book, it's a story about a miner and how they had been working this mine and they weren't getting the results that they wanted and needed, and they wanted to strike it rich type of thing, and so they gave up and sold the mine to somebody else. Somebody else came in there, started drilling, and literally 3 feet later, they hit that proverbial mother lode and pulled out all kinds of gold and things from that mine. And this was up in the Alaska area, I believe. And so, how often do we as business owners give up too soon? And if we would have just pushed forward just a little bit further, a little bit harder, we might have weathered whatever that storm was. But here again, if we have profit first set up in our businesses, it's a lot easier to weather that storm because I'm hoping you've got an emergency fund, you've got a profit fund, a tax fund, you've got these various bank accounts set up that can help you get through these really tough times. Fast forwarding up into COVID was another really tough time, but because of Profit First, we weathered COVID fairly easily, as did several of my clients who had Profit First set up. Now, those that didn't struggled a little bit harder. So having that philosophy or those tools set up in your business can be very much a game changer. And for anyone who's not familiar with Profit First, let me give you a quick little intro into it. Profit First is a banking system where we set up individual bank accounts to catch different kinds of money. And so we make transfers. Most of my clients make them every week. And we transfer money into various bank accounts, one being a tax account, so the owner can always pay their income taxes. Another one being a profit account, so that owner gets rewarded for the risks that we take being in business for ourselves. Another one might be an owner's pay account if the owner's not already, able to take a consistent payroll. Some of them aren't, so then we set up an owner's pay account. We might set up an emergency account where we put money in for that emergency that might come up, such as an earthquake, a fire, a flood, a something. We have our emergency account we can work out of to help supplement whatever other income comes in the door. We might have an account for future expansion or future growth. And with that account, we're paying into that account. So the next time we need to buy a truck or a van or move into a bigger location, we have some money sitting there and we're able to make that happen a lot easier. So the whole Profit First concept is to work off of what we call a smaller plate. Instead of the big platter of food that comes to you in a restaurant, working off of a smaller plate where you're able to run your business, but we run it as a lean type business where we don't have extra cash going out. We're making better decisions based on the cash that we currently have in our operating or our OPEX account. So that's just a little quick overview on how Profit First works. If you'd like more information on that, please reach out. I'd love to show you how Profit First works. It has transformed my own business. I couldn't imagine life without it as a business owner. During that recession time that was going on in 2009, 10, and into 11, I came to the realization that I needed to do something different. Up to that point, I had been offering traditional accounting services, and we had a fairly large team working with lots of small businesses, and we were hitting a revenue ceiling, and I couldn't seem to break beyond it. Now, part of it was my mindset. I had to get that fixed. Once I got my mindset fixed, I realized that I need to be offering different types of services than what I'd traditionally been offering. And so at that point, I went exploring and I found the ability to get certified as a tax coach or tax strategist. And not just tax as in preparation, but tax as in tax planning. And started learning about various tax planning strategies and was able now to bring a brand new service to my clientele. And this was a service that people loved because it helped them save money on their tax returns. And it was a service that was more valuable than just doing bookkeeping and payroll and income tax and that type of thing. So once I felt comfortable in that line of work, being able to do proactive tax planning for my clients, then I said, okay, now what's the next step in this journey? The next step in the journey was to pick a niche and really niche down, and the way that I picked my niche, which is home service businesses, so I sat there and I looked at all my clients. I thought, who are my most favorite clients? And they all seemed to be blue collar business owners. And I went, great, I'm the daughter of an electrician. I know a little bit about that world. Why don't we step into that as a niche? And so that was about 15 years ago now that we started that on that path. In the process, we discovered Profit First and so got certified as a Profit First professional and moved my way up to the top tier of that program. In the last couple years, we've gotten certified as a cash flow strategist. And so these extra certifications allow me to offer a completely different type of service than what I used to offer to the clients. Now, how this relates to you as a home service business owner is there are the traditional services that everybody offers, but then there are other types of services that you might be able to bundle into what you're currently doing and allow your customers to have more of an elite, maybe it's a membership type thing, and be able to offer them a different range of services, just like I offer my clients a different range of services today than I did in the past. So just think about that. How can I take that concept and put it in my own business? I'm always watching for new ideas. Most of the time, I'm looking outside of the accounting industry, but looking for new ideas, new ways, new things we can try to build our business and to make it better and to be able to offer more of the services that you guys are looking for. I will tell you that along this road of becoming a tax planning or tax strategist and a profit first professional and the cash flow strategist, it has been uncomfortable. Talk about stepping outside of my comfort zone. Wow. But I find that the biggest growth that I see in myself and in my business is when I'm willing to step outside my comfort zone. So I want to challenge you. Are you just doing things that are comfortable? Or are you looking at something and maybe you're hesitating on giving it a try because you've never done it before? A week ago, I had to set up a funnel in a brand new CRM software. Now, I'm not the person that does this type of things. I have a VA that does it. But in a program that I had purchased, they had us walk through and actually do those steps ourselves so we knew what it looked like. Talk about uncomfortable. It's like, wow. Also, in another program, they're having us put together a signature webinar or workshop or a masterclass, whatever word you want to call it. And that is so far outside of my comfort zone. So I've been really stretched this summer as we're sitting here working on things and coming up with new services and new programs and things that can help make my home service businesses more profitable. And it's all structured around the numbers and finding those hidden profit leaks. They like to hide out in your businesses, and they are hiding everywhere, except they're not necessarily in plain sight. We have to go looking for them. And so it's been fun learning new tools and designing new tools and learning new strategies and things that we can bring to our coaching clients. So I just want you to stop and think about, do you need somebody in your corner with you, helping you, encouraging you, holding you accountable so that maybe you are a little more willing to step outside of your comfort zone and embrace something new or try something new. I know it's scary. I know this is a terrible busy time of year for you right now. This is your high season, but still put it in the back of your head. Maybe it's time to take a second look at something that you've been thinking about doing. In the process of transforming my business from a traditional accounting firm to a coaching firm who only works with home service businesses, my team has had to transition as well. And I will tell you, I have no employees from back in the era when I was a traditional accounting firm. As I started to change the company and started taking on all these new learning and different certifications and different kinds of services, my team at that point in time pushed back big time. Several of them quit, and a couple I had to let go because their attitudes went way south. They were not buying into this new program. It was uncomfortable for them, and they let me know it in very clear terms. Well, as a result, I have a different team today, and my team today is willing and excited to look at these new possibilities, these new services, new ways that we can serve the home services industries. And it's a completely different mindset from the team that I had 10 or 15 years ago. So I want to challenge you, take a look at your team. Is your team tracking with you? Are they growing with you? Are they willing to embrace new technologies? Are they pushing back and putting on the brakes and sabotaging what you're trying to get done? If so, they may not be the best fit for you. It's okay to let them go and make space for somebody new coming in. It's all part of the growth process. Sometimes we have to make really hard decisions as a business owner. I want to talk for just a moment about some of the habits that I had to learn along this 30-year journey. One of the habits was learning how to control my calendar. When I first started in business, I was so busy running around doing all kinds of stuff. I look back now and I kind of laugh. But I had to learn how to control my calendar. I couldn't let that tail wag the dog. And I had to learn how to train my staff to the point that they were able to do the work and make decisions without me being right there and running everything to me. Because I remember those days too. They couldn't do anything without me being right there with them. And so that was another very uncomfortable learning process. Learning how to build my team, learning how to empower my team, learning how to hire the right kind of people with the right mindset, learning how to change my own mindset so that I could embrace new technology, new team members, new ideas, new ways of doing things. That's been a lot of change. And then learning how to control your calendar, how to I have what I call theme days. Certain days of the week, we do certain things. We have a couple days of the week, I take all my appointments, my coaching calls. I have a couple days of the week that are just heads down working time. So, learning how to control that calendar so that I can give the best of me to whoever it is that I'm sitting with and talking to at that particular moment in time. So I want to challenge you to figure out how you can control your calendar. Yes, I know things happen, emergencies happen, and stuff like that, but you can control it for the most part. And building in some buffers so that when those things happen, they don't completely derail your whole day. And it's not easy, it's not comfortable. It is hard work. but it is work that pays back and just continues to pay back and back. When you're in the midst of all these changes, it takes a lot of courage. So many people are willing to just sit back and stay in the comfortable area. Very few people are willing to take the courage that it takes to step out there and try something new. Or in the case of somebody like me, who I'm a really good introvert, putting myself out there in this podcast was huge. We're not too far away from celebrating our second year of podcast episodes every week. I never thought I could do something like this, and I never thought I could do a solo episode. That was just like, whoa, I don't think I can do that. But stepping up and embracing things that are scary and doing them anyhow. Maybe I'm not as good as somebody else that you're listening to, but I'm hoping I bring you value on every episode of this podcast as we uncover profit leaks. So I want to sum this up as some of the profit leaks I encountered over the last 30 years. A big one was in my team. We had so much inefficiency. We had jobs not getting done correctly and coming back and having to get redone multiple times. We had team members who were just watching the clock. I mean, the minute it was 5 o'clock, boom, they were already packed up and out the door. And it's like, wait a minute, you left a project unfinished and we promised it to the client tomorrow morning. Those kinds of things happened a lot over the years, not any longer, but they did in the early years. A lot of profit leaks because I wasn't watching my checkbook and my credit cards closely enough. Things would creep on. We realized we weren't using them and didn't get them shut off fast enough. So profit leaks there that I found. Profit leaks in my own inefficiency. Just because I was busy didn't mean I was bringing money into the company, whether it's money today or money in the future. Because I spend a lot of time working on my business, not just in my business. And there is a difference when you're working on your business, you're bringing in tomorrow's money. You also need to do a certain amount of work in your business, keeping everything rolling and keeping that business healthy and successful. Profit leaks in a couple of the coaches that I've hired over the years. Some of them have been a lot better than others. So profit leaks there. I didn't know how to tell the difference between a good business coach and a not so good business coach. And a business coach that was going to meet me where I was today and help me move up to the next rung. So spent a lot of money in coaches and programs and things like that. Had a few home runs along the way, but I had a few duds along the way too. And those duds became a profit leak for me. Profit leaks in offering services that weren't part of the original project. Very common in the accounting industry. Client says, well, can you go ahead and do this for me? And the staff says, oh, sure, because we're wanting to give good customer service. But that would be like a change order. And it never got reflected, never billed the client for the additional work. And so that was a big profit leak especially in the early years when I had a larger staff and they were doing things and I didn't know about it. So there's so many different profit leaks in my own business. So I challenge you to take a look at your business. Where are you leaking out profit? Are you leaking out profit in your mindset? How about in your team? How about in the way your materials for your jobs are ordered? Too much, too little, not on time, so you can't get the project started on time. There's so many places profit can leak out of. So I just want to challenge you to take a minute and stop and think about your own business. Can we identify some profit leaks? I love to hop on a profit impact call with people, and we utilize my profit simulator program. And to date, I've always been able to find a minimum of $50,000 for anybody that I've sat down and worked with. Sometimes we find $200,000, $300,000, $400,000 worth of potential profit leaks leaking out of their business. So, how much profit's leaking out of your business? Reach out to me. I'm happy to hop on a call with you and let's find out. And then If we feel like we're right to work together, we have coaching programs. We have a workshop coming up in the fall all about starting profit first and implementing it in your business. So we've got a lot of things, a lot of tools that we can help you with. And we love working with you to make your business more profitable. I want to give you permission to make changes. Now you might be thinking, well, does Diane need to give me permission? I found that along the road, sometimes I needed somebody to just say the words to me. I give you permission to change the way you've always been doing things and to try something different. So I'm giving you permission. Look at the way you've been doing things. Do you have processes that should be updated and changed? Do we have a way to streamline systems? I give you permission to change. I know you're in a super busy season right now, but that change can start in your head. And then as we start coming out of busy season, you've been thinking about it and we're able to start the process and figuring out what are the first few steps to implement that change. So I give you permission to make changes. It's okay. If your team gives you pushback, it's okay. As long as we've thought it out and we can show them the value in the changes that we're making. I want you to know that I believe in you. You are more capable than you think you are. I'm proud of you. I'm so blessed to get to work with some of the best home service businesses across the US. I've met some amazing people, and I want to keep meeting more amazing people. You guys just light up my day when I'm able to work with you and plug those profit leaks. So, my key recap for today is the first of all is never give up. Just keep on pushing, keep on trying. You might have to try a different door, but don't ever give up. Invest in yourself is my second one. Invest in your professional development. That is such a key element if we're going to grow our business. What has got us to where we are today will not necessarily get us to that next rung up the ladder. So we have to invest in ourselves and invest in our teams. Be willing to do that. The third item is to align your team. Align your team with your goals and your core values and your mission and your vision. If everybody's aligned, then we're all working together, all rowing our boat in the same direction. And lastly, be willing to change. Be willing to embrace change. It's scary. Change is scary. It's hard, but be willing to embrace it. Be willing to say, I'm going to suck at this, but that's okay. The more I do it, the better I will become. So be willing to embrace change. And so, with that, I want to say thank you so much for being part of my journey. Thank you for those along the way who've encouraged me. I want to thank my husband because he's always encouraging me and telling me he's proud of me and allowing me the safety net of trying something new, that no matter what, he's there. And I want to thank some different family and friends who have helped along the way with encouragement. And my current team, who's amazing because they're all right there saying, let's go, we can do this. Step out into this new, claim it, we can do it. And that's an amazing team when you're surrounded by those kind of people. So I'm sure you have people that you may want to stop and say a quick thank you to. They've helped you get your business to where they are today. So why don't you help me celebrate my 30th anniversary? We'll have some fun things coming up over the next few months. Once you guys come out of your busy season. And let's help you get Profit First rolling in your business. Maybe you've tried it in the past and you weren't able to get it going, or you had it running for a while and then you got stalled along the way. In the fall, we'll be putting on this workshop called the Profit Blueprint, where we will be digging into the whole Profit First mentality and philosophy. So just kind of park that back there. We're waiting for you to come out of your busy season and we'll be ready to roll after that. Meanwhile, thank you for joining me on this episode. I hope you found value. If you have, please tell another home service business owner. Please like us. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Our listenership is growing, and it's because of you that it's growing. I want to say the same thing I try to say on most of our episodes. It's not how much money you make in top line revenue, it's how much of that you're able to keep. If if you would like some help identifying profit leaks and building out your pricing and your services so that you have a profitable and successful home service business, please reach out to us. We love finding profit leaks. We love helping you figure out ways to plug those leaks. So, with that, we're going to say this is a wrap. Thank you so much for spending your part of your day with me, and we will catch you on the next episode. Thanks again. Bye bye.